Great evening, everyone. I keep watching Flat Earth Dave do his interviews, and they keep asking him about TFE, what they called the final experiment. If this, then that. If that, then this. They give you two false binaries to set up in your mind what they call pre-programming. I don't know exactly what it's called, but basically that experiment, they all went down there. Jaron and Austin were the only flat earthers that went, that we trusted. I mean, not the only ones, but the main flat earthers that were supposed to go there. Jaron even had bets on websites, like you could bet in cryptocurrency if they were going to see the flat earth, or if they were going to see the 24-hour circling sun or not, blah blah blah, and then they were going to make a documentary about it. But then while Jaron was doing a live stream when they first got there, he was giving a tour of the facility, and he showed where the track was, and Lisbeth was joking about going to ride bikes. Then they called them in for a mandatory meeting inside those little blue shelter containers. Maybe they were gray, the dark shelter containers. After they got out of that meeting, that was about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't remember what day it was. It was a long time ago. It was like the first or second day they actually were there, because they said they were so tired they couldn't do anything, and then the next day they gave the tour. Long story short, after they got out of that meeting, that's when Jaron came out with his hands crossed, and he had a completely different attitude. He was like a little kid in a candy store when he first got there, and then he was like beet red, stressed, arms crossed, being forced to say that, yes, we did see a 24-hour circling sun, so that means that I was wrong. No, it doesn't mean he was wrong. It just means that they need more observation, and it had nothing to do with any final experiment. They should have called it the first experiment. And then we need to address how Austin said, no, this is all green screens, and they're holding AR-15s at us right now, and they're making us say this, and he said, no, I'm just kidding, that was just a joke. We should address that, because everyone's talking about their own theories. I have my theory. They went down there, they were really close to the firmament, or believed they were. There's either they were too close to the firmament, and you could see the way the sun is when you're that close, or they faked it. Like David Weiss says, I think they probably could have faked it. They probably took them somewhere. Just like NASA, I guarantee you NASA and Antarctica work together. They probably have special operations to make people think that they're at the, the South Pole. There's no South Pole. There's a North Pole, the mountain in the middle of Earth, our Earth, and then you have the outer lands in Antarctica. Because on the original maps, you can see Argentina connects into the outer lands. And I was saying they're somewhere in Argentina, below Argentina, thinking they're in Antarctica. That's what I was saying the whole time. But anyway, long story short, we need to address how the whole situation changed. It was like at 3 o'clock they had a mandatory meeting. And then he came back on later that night on Will Duffy's stream, and Will Duffy was sitting there smiling with the victory flag, like, yeah, so just figure that out, because I believe there was people holding AR-15s to him and telling him, no, you're going to have to say what we tell you to say, so let's just address that. Have a nice day.